All right, Rocket football fans, here we are for week 5 of the football season. Had a bye week last week, took a little rest and relaxation. Coach Thompson and I have run out of things to say after 4 weeks, so we brought Coach Courtney, the defensive coordinator, in to save us here in the week 5 coaches show. So we're going to get right to business. Rockets are going over to Union County this week. I always like to call this the Coal Bowl. They call it the Corn Bowl. I call it the Coal Bowl because years ago all those guys that played, their fathers worked in the coal mines together, and it was just a bit. Maybe some little wagering on the side, and maybe some tailgating in the parking lot or down the road. But it's always been a very nice rivalry between Union County. The Braves come in this game 2 wins, 3 losses. They played a tough schedule. The Rockets come in 3-1, ranked number 8. We slipped just a little bit in the polls, Coach. Probably rightfully so, I guess, considering we lost to Caldwell.
You know, the last time we played, we lost. We got beat pretty good to Caldwell. So when you're off a week after that, some other teams do some things, you're bound to slip a little bit. But they've kept us in the top 10. People are still looking at us. We just got to go out and prove that we can play with the good teams.
And the RPI rating, something we're going to be looking at, particularly after week 6. Because that's going to determine where we play if we get to the third round of playoffs. We're number 9 right now. And conspicuously absent from that, Campbellsville.
Yeah.
They're not even in the top 10.
Yeah, me and Coach Courtney, we talk a lot about this. I think that your wins weigh heavily on the RPI, not just the strength of schedule. That's a part of it, but winning games is a big part of it as well. And they're 2-2, I believe. So they got those 2 losses. If we were to continue to lose, our RPI would continue to shrink. So I think that, you know, the fact that we've got 3 wins, regardless of who they're against, that goes a long way in the RPI for us. So we just got to continue to find a way to win.
Of course, that thing is weighted 30% your results, 30% your opponent's results, and or I think it's 35, then 30. Your opponent's results. So we keep a close eye on that. These next 2 weeks, as we said, going into the Caldwell game, the next 3 weeks. But now we're down to 2. The next 2 weeks, particularly, big games for RPI. Big games that we quality wins if we can pull these off.
Yeah, and our schedule it works really well right now with Union coming in. That's a tough game, and then Trigg after that. So if we can find a way to get 2 wins there, then we should be sitting nice in the RPI.
All right, we're going to take we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
You know, ever since I was a child, I've loved land. I loved every land. My mother's father was a farmer, so that my granddaddy and his father was a farmer, and I spent my childhood's summers in coming to Kentucky and working on the farm, and everything from the smell of dirt to feeling it run the dirt go between your fingers. There's nothing like it.
Welcome to Hometown Chiropractic. I'll be right with you.
Hey, Rocket football fans!
Let Rommel Ellington tackle your dirty ride.
Here at H&H, we've got just about anything that it takes to get you back out on the field.
Coach Courtney, since you're the new guy on the block here today, we're going to talk about defense first. Coach Thompson, we're going to let Coach Courtney discuss what's going on with his defense. Right now, we're ranked number 14 in the state as far as team defense, and I know you would like to be higher than that. Had it not been for that Caldwell game, we probably would be. And talk a little bit, I know you had to change some things for the Caldwell game, so where are we at right now defensively?
We're pretty much back on track now, which is good. Caldwell, we had injury after injury, it felt like it, and in the same position, so it made us go deep into places and change some things that we do towards the last minute. So this week it looks good. Everybody's been back. Caden's been back, and we're back to full force.
Mm-hmm. And Caden McAllister missed the Caldwell game. Did they ever determine exactly what was wrong with him? I know he had some kind of a tick-borne virus, a viral infection.
Exactly what it was. I just know that he's a lot better now. He's put his weight back on, and he's back to being Caden, and that's the most important thing.
We'll leave the medical stuff to the doctors then. All right, Coach Courtney, tell us how things look up front for your defense right now, and who's going to be starting this week.
Okay. Up front, we're solid with the starters that we've been having with Lathan Easley at the nose, Dylan Yates, and Preston Turley at the ends. We also like to play a lot of guys down there, so we'll play 6 or 7 guys with Noah coming in, with Gobin coming in, and then with Deacon also. So we like to stay fresh down there and keep rotating.
Deacon Holland and Noah McGowan. Make sure know who. So Noah's a new guy. I think we throw first names out on a lot of these guys.
Perkins down
Putting
at
Perkins
the
down there.
defensive end. He's gritty.
It might work.
Which Perkins?
Either
Oh
one.
yeah, we got to do that too.
Yeah, we got 2 Perkins on the team. Well, tell us your linebacking crew. Again, Kay McAllister out, really left you in a bind against Caldwell. Everybody healthy. What's it looking like in there? Tyler Boone continues to play well. Braxton, all those guys.
Yeah, we're back to the 3 guys, and they're all healthy. I expect us to have a bigger week this week with those guys. They've played pretty well, but I think they can play better, and they know that. I've put that out to them. That I challenge them this week. Union County's going to be a team that wants to run the ball and run it down our throat, and it's going to be up to those guys to stop a lot of things they do. So I put a lot of weight on those guys, but nothing they can't handle. All 3 of them are really solid players.
Sometimes when you have an injury and it creates an opportunity for another player to get in the game, are you seeing anybody growing with those opportunities to get in the game against Caldwell?
I put Coleman Stone in, and not just against Caldwell the week before too with Braxton. Yeah, and he's been my guy to go to. And Ian, we're kind of waiting on him to get healthy. We can go both ways. Ian can play linebacker. Ian Ellington's a very solid linebacker. Up there with those 3, it's just a matter of when he's healthy enough to do that and when he feels comfortable doing it. But I feel good about those 2, coming in and backing everything up.
He played a little bit of defense against Caldwell County.
He did.
And he looked like he was fatigued.
Yeah, he did. But we came in the second half and, did pretty well. He comes in and get a sack, a couple tackles, and we hold him there in the second half with him in. And we were able to go back to our normal defense as well. We just went back to what we do. And I think that showed a mix of those things. Ian being and helping us, and then just going back to what we know.
What about in your secondary? Any new faces in there? Anybody up and coming there either?
Pretty much the same guys. We play a lot of guys there too. We got the starting 3, obviously, with Xander Tabor and Noah Perkins.
And you've lost one now with Bryson Baker breaking his collarbone in a JV game last week, or the week before.
Yeah, with that just gives the same guys more reps. I think we'll still see Bailey come off and Logan Bailey help us at free safety and at corner. We'll also see more Travis Guest coming in at corner, which they've all been playing, but I think it just ups the second guy's reps more with losing him.
Yeah. Anybody else, any of these younger guys that maybe been on the 3rd team and now you're saying, hey, this guy, we're bumping him up to the 2nd team type player?
I think Deacon Hallman will be a guy this week. He's in the rotation. He's somebody. We have a lot of defensive linemen I think that can play, and we've getting Noah late in the season. Or late in the off season, I should say. We've kind of tried to figure it out. What's the best group down there? But Deacon's, showed that he can play. And I think being a freshman, I think he's starting to grow up, and he'll get a chance this week to see what he can do.
He comes from pretty good stock.
Yes.
His mom is athletic.
Yeah.
Of course, his dad was pretty athletic too. He was on the state championship team in 1985.
I was laughing because I feel like that was shots fired.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back and talk about the offense. We'll let Coach Thompson speak a little while.
Hey Kelly, it's almost Friday.
And we'll see you at Rocket Stadium.
You go to the game this week, you're going style, Rocket fans. Come by Max 2 Custom Kit and Detail for a $15 warranty.
Hello, I'm Rick Hughes at Deer Lakes Golf Course in Salem, Kentucky, home of Rocket Golfers.
Since 1973, Hodges has been equipping Rockets and Rocket fans with gear and apparel. Come see us! We'll see you Friday night at the football game.
All right, welcome back to the show. We're going to talk a little bit about the Rocket offense. Coach Thompson, the offense has been very good at times. Last game against Caldwell County sputtered a little bit, but we did get on the board. Talk about where we are in the maturation process with this offense?
You know, it's like I said after the game that a lot of the issues and the struggles we had against Caldwell were on me. So I, took that week off that we had, that bye week, to be better and be better prepared this week. So I spent a lot more time with Coach Courtney on the weekend, making sure we had a good game plan, and then not only having a good game plan, going out and make sure that we practice the things that we want to be able to do this week. So we feel like the kids are in a good place at this point in the week, and as long as they go out and execute what we think Union County's going to do, then I feel like that we'll be better offensively than we were the last time we stepped out on the field. So that right there in the maturation process, them being able to digest a game plan and then go out and execute it the right way, we'll see on Friday. It's a hard question to answer, but I will say this has been the best week of practice we've had all season. There's not been one close, so hopefully that's a good sign.
Well, you've had an extra week to prepare and to get ready for an opponent, as well as let some wounds heal.
Yeah.
So it's been a good time.
A lot of that first week, we spent a lot of time on us because when you go out, when you think you're a pretty good team and you get beat the way we did at Caldwell, you have to take a look at yourself in the mirror. So we spent a lot of time on ourselves last week, just getting back to the basics and being good at the little things and emphasizing that and trying not to forget the little things going forward, because it doesn't matter how good you think your game plan is or what you plan on doing. If you can't do the little things and execute the things that are just basic to football, then your chances of being successful aren't very high. So we made sure we spent a lot of time on us last week, and then this week, just coming out. Union County's a good football team. We're gonna have to go out and take advantage of the things that they give up. So,
well, I mentioned that the defense was number 14 Class A. Our offense is number 8, which is where we're ranked right now, coincidentally. Have you been surprised at anything offensively, or have you been disappointed so far in anything? Hunter Jones is number 17 in the state in passing. I think Xander's number 19 in the state in Class A in rushing. And then Tyler Boone is number 12 in passing. So we got some guys up there in the top 20. Last year we were in the top 10 with a lot of those guys.
Yeah, we had a lot of old guys that were used to the process and used to being the guys. We've had a lot of guys step up this year, and I think that to me, a surprise. I have no disappointments. The only disappointment I've had this year has been in myself and allowing the kids to be where we were. Just the mindset that we were in. But the main thing that I see with Hunter that excites me is he's becoming a quarterback. In the Caldwell game, we didn't come out. We calmed ourselves by going to that tight set where we run the ball, the little jet series we do. We calmed ourselves with that, but we were effective against them throwing the ball. And Caldwell's a really good defense, and they force you to make a lot of errors. But, once we settled down and got into the game, whether the clock was running or not, it was still their guys out there. But we showed that we can throw the ball a little bit, and he was very poised in the pocket and stood and made some throws that I didn't know that he could make at that time. So going forward, I feel a lot more comfortable in calling some stuff with him and letting him be a quarterback as opposed to saying it's Hunter out there.
Let's talk a little bit about some of your in the backfield. Is there anybody, like we asked Gage a minute ago, is there anybody that you see that's an up-and-comer right now? We know the household names, the Xander Tabor, Preston Morganson, and on. Who's somebody else that maybe is going to get some touches in the near future?
Travis Guess is a guy that'll step in for Bryson Baker and play out wide for us and fill that role. He's one of our better receivers, even when Bryson was healthy. He practices hard. As long as he can stay engaged and do his job on every play, he'll be a guy that can make some plays for us. So he's a guy that we'll see. And another guy that's really impressed me is Caleb Nesbitt. Watching him in the JV games and what he looks like on a football field in game action, he's got another little level to his game. So he's really stepped up in the JV games. He's a guy that we need to see what he can do on Friday nights. I don't want to compare him to his brother or anything, but he's a very skilled individual, and I'd be crazy to not see what he can do on a Friday night.
Another guy from good stock.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
he's a playmaker. That's what I've seen. He's a playmaker.
And we can use a few playmakers.
For sure. When you start looking at Morganson being a freshman and then Caleb being in that freshman class, and there's some other guys like Rowan Perkins in that class. Trace Darrington's another young one, and Logan Bailey. There's a lot of pieces there. So those guys are starting to develop and come into their own at a young age, and we're starting to show that they might be ready to play on Friday nights. So we can get them some touches.
Let's talk a little bit about up front. Anything, any new developments up there? I know I was out at practice this week. It looks like same personnel, but is there anything that we don't recognize?
No, we still got the same guys. We still want to play a 7, 8, 9 offensive lineman when we can. Cooksey, he's back.
Holden Cooksey had
there.
pneumonia.
Yeah, he's back out there getting to practice some. He's still struggling a little bit. He gets to breathing hard. We got to give him a break. Yeah, it's just, we got to be smart with him. We don't want to force him into a situation and then him continue to have the same issues. So we want to make sure he's 100%. But he's showing that he can get out there a little bit right now, and we're trying to work him back in slowly with it. But, taking him out on a Friday night, that takes away from your depth a little bit on the outside. So you got people like Deacon Holloman that can step up and play a little bit. And Zach Counts is a young guy that, I'm talking about young guys that are starting to surprise me that I feel like if he can stay healthy, he's a guy that eventually could get some reps. He's just got to stay healthy.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take another quick break, and we'll be right back and talk about Union County, this week's opponent.
From our team to yours, we're behind you all the way, Rockets. Par 4 Plastics, where people make the difference.
Through the week, we are welding and fabricating. On Friday nights, we are grinding it out with the Rockets. Touchdown, Rockets!
I'm Darren Tabor, Homestead Auction Realty. Let us get you across the goal line with a new home.
We're back to talk about Union County, but first of all, I want to make sure we've got all of our injuries covered. I know we've got Bryson Baker that's out. I believe Justin Phillips hurt some ribs against Caldwell County. What's his status?
Justin will be out this week, but he's better. He's just nursing it. He had some bruised ribs, severely bruised ribs, so it takes some time. I don't know anything about the body or anything, but they say bruised ribs probably hurt a little bit worse than if you were to break them. So he's going through that, but I think that he's getting better. He's out getting the condition a little bit this week, so I think we'll get to see him in the near future.
Tucker Sharp still has that broken hand. Yeah. What's his status now? Is he still wrapped up?
He's still wrapped up. He should have a checkup coming here soon, but he's still cleared to play as long as it's taped.
And I talked to Lathan Easley out at practice this week, and for now it looks like his any sort of surgery to repair his ankle that's been a problem, it looks like it's going to be after the season, which he's still playing. So, and the way I understand it, it can't damage it any further.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what's going on with it. I just know that he's had issues with his ankles since he got in high school. And this year's injury happened in the summer in the dead period before the season ever started. So he missed a lot of the summer, and then he went to the specialist, and then they came up with a plan, and that's what they decided to go with, is let him play until he can't tolerate the pain.
Well, I know he doesn't get to go through a lot of the practice drills at times, but when the lights come on Friday night, Gage, you know where he's at, don't you?
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's hard to miss out there on Friday.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Union County. Union County, the Seals Portee, running back, broke his leg a couple of weeks ago. He's been out. I know that's hurt them. It's changed the way they approach things. But, Coach Courtney, how do you deal with them defensively? They run kind of a two-back set most of the time, don't they?
Right. Yeah, I still think they definitely hurt them. Probably their best player that they lost. But still pretty similar on the things that they want to do. They still, I believe their mentality is they want to go two-back sets and run the ball down your throat. Now, they'll go gun and throw it around and stuff. With quarterback, they've rotated a few different guys that don't know exactly what they want to do. And they've got a pretty good-looking receiver that they've picked up over the last week or two that's came out, the Gaither kid. So he can be a real problem. They throw a screen to him against Caldwell the first play of the game. He goes for about 20, and you can definitely see flashes of him being a really good player.
So what do we, without giving away any secrets, obviously, I guess we just go with our normal defense, even though they're not a team that really is a spread type. I mean, I'm sure they get into that some,
Right.
but they're not going to come at you all the time like that.
Right. Yeah, we definitely have to be prepared to stop the run. We go, with the 3-3 defense, you can get into a 5-3 pretty quick. You can get into a 4-2, whatever you want to get into. So we're prepared to, stop the run first. That's always our number one goal. I'll say it every time. We got to stop the run, especially this week. It's really what they want to do, and make them do what they don't.
You've got the whip and the rocket backer, the inverts you call them. We didn't discuss them a minute ago. We're talking about the defense, and those guys, you might change some personnel up with them and bring them down to the line.
Right, and mentioning that'll bring, talking about young guys too that I overlooked, Maddox Carlson, which obviously had the concussion and has kind of been out, but was doing a really good job before that. That bumps him into the starting lineup this week, and he seems to have had a really good week of practice and feeling good, so I'm excited what he can do.
Yeah, been a key contributor. He's all clear now and ready to go.
Yep.
So, Coach Thompson, offensively, how do we attack Union County's defense?
No, we're just going to go out and do what we do. When you have a team come out smacking the mouth like Caldwell did, you take a look in the mirror and you say, what do we like to do? And we're just going to get back to what we do. So, we've worked really hard on our screens. We've worked on run game. We've worked on our quick passing game, trying to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands quick and being able to get it to our guys in space as quick as possible. So, we've worked on all the basic stuff. If anybody's ever watched a game that I've called and that they know that this is what Crittenden County does, that's what we feel like we need to do against Union County, because sometimes it's more about what you do as opposed to what they do. They sit in a 4-2-5 and sometimes get in a 3-man front and kind of go 3-4 with the cover 4 look over the top of it, but I think they'll sit in a 4-2-5 look against us, cover 3 over the top. And with that, you got a 6-man box, so you have the numbers to run the ball, and cover 3 you have a soft coverage. So
give us some chance underneath.
Give us some stuff underneath, and we just got to make sure that we execute the plays that are called.
And I like that play to number 31, the deep ball to Preston Turley.
I mean, when you have a 6'6" guy, what quarterback wouldn't want to have that?
It's worked pretty well at times. I hope we see that one more often. All right, we're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back to close out the show.
5 regular season home games, at least 2 home playoff games, at 8 touchdowns per, 56 touchdowns. That's a lot of booms.
I love option play.
Was that a 42 speed option? Are you looking for a banking option? Sequent, Federal Credit Union.
Coming to Marion soon.
Full Body Fitness, training Rockets and Rocket fans since 2006.
Cashback, please.
25 cents.
I need to cash this, please.
25 cents.
Cashback, please.
25 cents.
Hunter, why are you shortchanging the customers?
At this window, all you get's a quarterback.
All right, welcome back to the final segment of the show. We're going to begin this final segment with our trivia question. Coach Thompson's always trying to look at my sheet here and get the answer.
He doesn't ever put the answer
so
on there.
he can give it to some of these guys that win every week, I think, So I quit putting it on there.
Yeah, it's not on there. I'm sitting there trying to read, and he moves the paper.
So this is going to be a good one. This is a real good, because this is a contemporary question. No Rocket has ever recorded more than 10 career sacks by the end of their junior season. No Rocket has ever had more than 10 sacks by the end of his junior season. So this current Rocket is a junior and has recorded his 11th already in this season. So prior to this season, nobody had ever done it. Who's that guy that's got the sacks right now? If you know, call down to H&H Hardware or stop by. Don't call down there. Go down there. Go down to H&H Hardware and tell them the answer, and if it's correct, you'll get a free round of golf at Deer Lakes Golf Course down in Salem. Closing comments, Coach Courtney. What's the word for the week? What do we do?
Execute.
Execute, is that the word? That's the buzzword, execute. I know communication was a buzzword for a while, so now it's execute.
Sounds good with me.
We're good. You good with that? Good with it? All right.
Communication's got really good. I think they've realized how crazy that I am. I really do have problems.
Well, after the little drill you did out there, the old phone, sending it down the line, trying to keep the message correct through 2 kids. One of them with a concussion.
Yeah, that's where we ended.
Yeah. So execution this week. All right, well, we'll be excited to go over and watch the Rockets take on Union County, a team that we got a little trouble with in the past few years, and we come into this game ranked number 8 in Class A, and they are unranked in Class 3A. We'll see you over at Morganfield. Kickoff 7 p.m. Friday night.
T-Bone, good luck this week. Thank you.
Good luck this week, Hayden.
Boys, we got to know what the game plan is this week. We're banking on you.
Everything in this country was built from the ground up, and it starts with land. When I can go out and take somebody onto a property and see that gleam in their eye when they find a farm that they fall in love with because they're as passionate about land as I am, that's when the magic happens. That's what makes what we do so great. There's no dollar amount. There's nothing else that can compare to the look you get when somebody signs on that dotted line and their dreams have come true about owning land.